Welcome to the Stoic Universe channel. Today, we will continue our journey of self-development, a topic we began in the previous episode. If you haven't watched the previous episode or are new to the channel, don't worry. You can easily find the link in the description below. And don't forget to make sure you don't miss any episodes in this exciting series. Remember to hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy what we share, don't hesitate to hit like and leave a comment below to let us know how you feel. Today, we will dive deep into the world of Stoic philosophy. But not the kind of distant Stoicism that only appears in mountaintop meditations or hours of chanting Om. We will explore a concept that can be applied directly in your daily life, a method that helps you find peace amid the noise and busyness of modern life. We will talk about how to control what you can and let go of what you cannot control, a powerful idea passed down by ancient philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. Imagine a day when you're on your way to work and suddenly caught in heavy rain, stuck in traffic. Your tasks aren't going well, and your boss demands everything be done by this morning. You feel stressed, anxious, maybe even angry. But what if you could stay calm, reduce worry, and maintain balance even when life around you is rushing and chaotic? This is exactly what Stoic philosophy can offer you. Lesson 1. The only path to serenity, and it's not what you think. Let's begin with an interesting question. Have you ever felt like you're caught in a whirlwind of things you can't control? Life, no matter how well you prepare, is always full of surprises and challenges. Maybe you're facing an unpleasant situation that you can't do anything about, like people cutting in line, annoying phone calls, or even bad weather that ruins your plans. So how do you deal with all this without letting it defeat you? The key lies in something very simple. You can only control yourself, your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. This doesn't mean you can change everything, but you can absolutely change how you react to everything. You've probably heard the famous quote by Epictetus: "We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it." Once you understand this, you'll realize that most of what makes you tired, frustrated, or anxious is actually beyond your control. So how do we apply this principle in our daily lives? 1. Know your circle of control. Imagine a circle. Inside the circle are the things you can completely control: your thoughts, your actions, and the decisions you make every day. Outside the circle are all the factors you cannot control: the weather, other people's behavior, market changes, or even an unfriendly look from a colleague. When you clearly divide these things, you'll start focusing your energy on what you can change, instead of wasting time and effort on things outside your control. Accept the things you cannot change. This does not mean you have to give up or surrender to every challenge. Acceptance does not mean being passive. Acceptance means you understand that there are simply some things beyond your ability to change. You cannot change the people around you. You cannot change traffic or the weather. But you can change your attitude toward those things. Instead of facing difficulties with irritation and frustration, you can learn to accept reality and face it with calmness. As the Serenity Prayer reminds us, "Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." Choose how you respond to situations. When faced with a difficult challenge, you always have the power to choose how you respond. Sometimes reacting with anger or frustration might feel natural, but that won't change the situation. Instead, you can choose to respond calmly and more thoughtfully. When you learn to control your reactions, you'll find that this calmness helps you solve problems much more effectively. Life will always be full of challenges and unexpected situations. But instead of letting them overwhelm you, you can fully apply the principles of Stoic philosophy to live more calmly, proactively, and confidently. And you will realize that each passing day becomes an opportunity to grow and become the best version of yourself. As Viktor Frankl, a renowned psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, once said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. That space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." You may have never thought of this before, but it is in those very moments when life is full of challenges that you truly have the chance to choose your response, and that very choice determines the peace in your mind. Let's now imagine a few real-life situations so you can clearly see how this philosophy can be applied in daily life. Traffic jam. You are driving on a congested road. Hours have passed and you're going nowhere. Instead of getting frustrated, honking the horn, and drowning in anger, a Stoic practitioner would take a deep breath, reframe their thoughts, and use this time for something beneficial. Listening to a favorite podcast, practicing mindfulness, or simply relaxing and enjoying the unexpected pause life has given. Cancelled flight. You are just about to board your flight when it suddenly gets cancelled. Instead of getting mad, irritated, and blaming everything around, you can sit down, stay calm, and assess the situation. Can you reschedule your flight for a later time? Is there a nearby hotel to rest and recover? Remember, anger won't change the situation, but it will surely exhaust you and add more stress. Losing a job. An optimistic person who practices Stoic philosophy will not drown in self-pity when losing a job. Instead, they will see it as an opportunity to reassess career, goals, learn new skills, and seek new directions. Failures are not the end, but a springboard for a new beginning. Therefore, true serenity does not mean avoiding the challenges of life, but rather how you face them with a strong mindset and resilient spirit. As Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and famous Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Once you realize this, you will find the strength to live peacefully despite the storms around you." Lesson 2. The Circle of Control. Your personal zone of peace. Continuing from what we've discussed, I want to share with you a very powerful concept in Stoic philosophy, the circle of control. This is not a mystical or superstitious idea, but a practical tool that can help you reduce stress, ease anxiety, and focus your energy on what truly matters. Imagine a circle. Inside the circle are all the things you can control. Your thoughts, your actions, your attitude, and the choices you make every day. Outside the circle are the factors you cannot control, like the weather, traffic, other people's opinions, the economy, or even those annoying songs stuck in your head. Stoic wisdom is not something new. Ancient Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius always focused on what they could control and accepted what they could not change. They understood that trying to control things beyond your power would only lead to frustration and suffering. So, how can you apply this to your life? 1. Reduce stress. When you focus on what it is within your control, you naturally reduce worry about outside things. You no longer have to stress over what you cannot change. You learn to let go of the unnecessary and focus only on what you can do to improve the situation. 2. A sense of empowerment. When you realize you have control over your thoughts and actions, you feel empowered. You are not a victim of circumstances, but an active participant in your own life. This gives you the freedom to make wiser decisions. 3. Better decision-making. When you clearly distinguish between what you can and cannot control, you make better decisions. You direct your energy toward what truly makes a difference, instead of wasting time on factors beyond your reach. To better understand how this applies in real life, let's look at an example. A job interview. You cannot control whether you will be hired or not, but you can control how well you prepare, how you present yourself during the interview, and how you follow up afterward. You don't need to worry about the outcome. Instead, focus on the elements you can control and let go of what is beyond your power. Medical diagnosis. You cannot control whether you get sick, but you can completely control how you respond. You can focus on getting the best treatment possible, maintaining a positive attitude, and making healthy lifestyle choices. Although the situation may not be what you hoped for, how you perceive and act upon it will have a huge impact on the final outcome. If you choose to face illness with optimism and resilience, you will feel stronger and better equipped to overcome those challenges. The social media storm. Another very relatable example in today's world is social media. You cannot control what others say about you online, but you can absolutely control how you respond. You can choose to ignore negative comments, engage in constructive and positive conversations, or simply log off and focus on more uplifting things in your life. When you choose to respond wisely and calmly, you avoid being swept into the chaos of uncontrollable events. You will realize that you can maintain inner peace and mental freedom even when the world around you is noisy and tense. Expand your circle. Although you cannot directly control everything outside the circle, you can often influence them. For example, you cannot control the weather, but you can control whether or not you bring an umbrella when you go out. You cannot control other people's opinions, but you can control how you express your own views and how you respond to what others say. These small actions, while they may not change everything, have a significant impact on the things you cannot control. And in doing so, you will feel more in control of your life, helping you feel less stressed and more proactive. Core message. The circle of control is a simple yet incredibly powerful tool for living a more peaceful and fulfilled life. Understanding what you can control and accepting what you cannot is the first step toward building mental peace. Remember the Serenity Prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So take a little time to draw your own circle of control. Identify clearly what belongs to you and what lies beyond your ability. Where are you spending your energy? By focusing on what you can control, you will feel less stressed more empowered, and better prepared to face any challenge life throws your way. Lesson 3. Cut the cords pulling at your mind. A DIY guide to achieving mental freedom. You've learned about the circle of control and the power of choosing your response wisely. But have you ever felt like your mind is being pulled in many different directions, leaving you feeling tense and anxious? These feelings are not uncommon, especially in a world full of information and pressure. These invisible cords are the external factors constantly attacking our minds, making it difficult to maintain inner peace. What are these cords? They are things like negative news, social media, advertisements, peer pressure, or social expectations. They are even the voices in your own head thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," "I'm not smart enough," or "I'm not successful enough." These fears and insecurities not only prevent you from living a good life, but also cloud your judgment and rob you of your mental freedom. Why do we need to cut these cords? Because they are keeping us from achieving true freedom. They limit our potential and prevent us from finding peace within. As the philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "To attain knowledge, add things every day. To attain wisdom, remove things every day." This means that sometimes, in order to find freedom and peace of mind, we must learn to let go of what no longer serves us. So how can we cut these cords and achieve mental freedom? 1. Awareness. The first step to untangling these cords is to recognize them. What factors are pulling at your mind? Is it the news or your personal worries? Once you become aware of these elements, it becomes easier to let them go. 2. Question everything. Do not blindly accept everything. Question the messages you receive from the media, from your friends, or even from your own thoughts. Are these messages true? Are they helpful? Do they serve your best interests? 3. Set boundaries. Learn to say no to things that don't align with your values or goals. Limit your exposure to negative news or social media. Surround yourself with positive influences and people who truly support you. When you begin cutting the cords that pull your mind away, you will experience true mental freedom. And you will realize that by focusing on meaningful and positive things, you can live a more complete and peaceful life. 4. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of living, fully in the present moment without judgment. Imagine sitting and enjoying a morning cup of coffee. Instead of letting your mind race through worries, work, or other concerns, you immerse yourself fully in the taste of the coffee, the warmth of the cup, and the surrounding environment. This is mindfulness, living consciously and completely in each moment, not letting thoughts or emotions control you. When you practice mindfulness, you become aware of your thoughts and emotions without being carried away by them. You are no longer a victim of negative feelings, but someone who can guide and manage them. Regular mindfulness practice can help you detach from the invisible cords pulling at your mind and find peace within. It is like an exercise that separates you from daily stress, helping you avoid being overwhelmed by everything around you. 5. Nurture inner strength. Inner strength is the resilience and confidence you can develop within yourself. It is the steadiness to face challenges, the belief in yourself, and the ability to make sound decisions. You need to learn to trust your own judgment and make choices. based on your values, not based on what others think or expect of you. When you build inner strength, you are no longer swayed by outside forces. Instead, you become the one steering your life. Let's think of some practical examples to make this clearer. The news addict. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the constant stream of negative news? You can limit your news consumption each day, or switch to more uplifting sources to protect your mind from negativity. The social media scroller. Are you always comparing yourself to others on social media? Don't hesitate to take a break from the apps or unfollow accounts that make you feel worse about yourself. The people pleaser. Are you someone who always says yes to things you don't want to do? Learn to set boundaries and prioritize your own needs. The chronic worrier. If you are always anxious about the future, practice mindfulness techniques to bring yourself back to the present instead of letting your mind spiral into what hasn't happened yet. Cutting the cords that pull your mind is an ongoing process. It doesn't happen overnight, but requires effort, awareness, and a willingness to challenge old habits. But the reward is worth it. When you free yourself from external influences, you will live a more authentic, joyful, and fulfilling life. As the Buddha once said, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. Lesson 4. Peace comes from staying on course. A navigation system for a tranquil life. Now, we move on to a crucial aspect of maintaining inner peace, staying on course in life. In a world constantly trying to distract us, how do we find peace? This doesn't mean you will live a life without difficulty, but rather that you can maintain deep serenity even when everything around you seems to be pulling you in another direction. The trap of fear of missing out. In today's world, we are constantly surrounded by messages telling us we're not enough, not doing enough, not becoming enough, not having enough. Social media intensifies this pressure with flashy images, endless invitations, and the fear of being left behind. We easily feel like we're not good enough, not successful enough, and we get caught in an endless loop. Like running on a hamster wheel, the faster we run, the less progress we seem to make. The Stoic solution. Ancient Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius had a different approach. They believed that true peace comes from acting in accordance with one's values, focusing on what we can control, and accepting what we cannot. As Seneca once said, tranquility cannot be achieved unless one has a steadfast and firm judgment. Everything else wavers, sometimes accepting, sometimes rejecting, never settled. So how can we stay on course in a world full of distractions? 1. Know yourself. Take time to reflect on your core values. What are your long-term goals? What kind of person do you want to become? The answers to these questions will serve as a compass to guide your life. Write them down and let them be your motivation in every decision you make. 2. Set clear goals. Once you're clear about your values and goals, make a plan to reach them. Break large goals into small, actionable steps. This will help you stay oriented and give you a sense of purpose even when everything feels chaotic. Each small step brings you closer to inner peace and personal growth. 3. Stay focused. One of the greatest challenges of modern life is distraction. Every day we are drawn to new trends, temporary fads, or simply shiny things that steal our attention. But remember, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Sometimes all we need is to stay on our path, even if it means saying no to things that don't align with our values or goals. To maintain peace, you must learn to keep your focus, despite external forces trying to pull you away from your path. When you are clear about your purpose and committed to it, you will find it easier to resist temporary temptations. That is when you can live in alignment with your core values. 4. Accept difficulties. Life isn't always filled with sunshine and rainbows. There will be failures, challenges, and times when you doubt yourself. However, instead of giving up, learn to accept difficulty as an essential part of your journey. Mistakes and hardships help you learn, adapt, and grow. Accepting hardship is how you build perseverance and resilience. Each time you overcome a challenge, you'll discover strength and confidence growing within you. And instead of fearing challenges, you'll learn to face them with calm and grace. 5. Celebrate small victories. In life's journey, we often wait to celebrate until we reach major goals or big achievements. However, don't wait until you hit the finish line to acknowledge your progress. The small victories each day are just as important. It could be a productive day, a valuable lesson learned, or a good decision made. Recognize and appreciate these small wins, as they are the building blocks of future success. Celebrating small victories will help you stay motivated and remind you that you're on the right path. Every step forward, no matter how small, deserves to be honored and will give you the strength to keep going. Real-life examples applying Stoic philosophy in daily life. Let's look at a few real-life examples to see how this philosophy can benefit our everyday experiences. The marathon runner. Training for a marathon is no easy feat. There are days when you want to give up, when your body is exhausted and your legs feel like they can't take another step. But if you stay committed to the journey, trust the process, and keep putting one foot in front of the other, you'll cross the finish line. Steady steps lead to success. The entrepreneur. Starting a business is like riding a roller coaster full of highs and lows. There will be times when you face failure and others when you're overwhelmed with success. But if you stay loyal to your vision, persevere through obstacles, and learn from your mistakes, you'll eventually build something you can be proud of. The journey is not easy, but it is your persistence that will carry you to the destination. The artist. The creative path is often lonely and uncertain. You may doubt your talent and sometimes feel like giving up. However, if you stay committed to your craft, continue creating, and never stop learning, you will eventually find your own voice and leave your mark on the world. It is passion and perseverance that will help you shine. Core message. Peace is not a destination, but a journey. It is about being true to yourself, even when the world tries to pull you in different directions. Peace comes from discovering your own rhythm, your own pace, and your own path. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Lesson 5. Don't do anything just out of habit. Break free from mental chains. Continuing our journey, we now turn to another essential aspect of life, habit. Daily habits can be powerful tools that help us live an organized and effective life. However, not all habits are beneficial. Some habits, especially unconscious ones, can trap us in loops and prevent us from living our best life. The habit loop. Have you ever wondered why, when stressed, you reach for a bag of chips? Or why you scroll through social media mindlessly for hours? It's because our brains are wired to create habits. These habits act like shortcuts to conserve mental energy, but sometimes they can lead us down unproductive paths. That's why breaking these habits can open up greater choices in your life. Why break habits? Habits bring a sense of comfort, but they can also limit you. Habits that aren't consciously chosen can prevent you from trying new things, discovering new capabilities, and growing as a person. As the saying goes, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Breaking habits increases awareness. When you break a habit, you become more aware of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. You pay attention to the triggers that make you repeat actions and the outcomes of those choices. By breaking the habit, you open the door to changing your life in a more positive direction. Expand your choices and live more intentionally. Habits can narrow your attention and limit your options. When you break free from old habits, you open yourself to new experiences, new perspectives, and new ways of living. When you're not operating on autopilot, you can make more deliberate choices about how to spend your time and energy. This helps you focus on activities that bring joy, fulfillment, and personal growth. Freeing yourself from habits that no longer serve you opens up a life of freedom and creativity. When you choose to live intentionally, you step out of the habit loop and start living a life that truly matters. Real-life examples applying Stoic philosophy in everyday life. The coffee addict. Do you find yourself reaching for a cup of coffee every morning without thinking? Has it become an unconscious part of your routine, something you can't imagine going without? Try changing things up. Switch to tea, or go without for a few days. Just experiment and notice how you feel. You might discover whether you truly need caffeine to start your day, or whether it's just a habit you never questioned. The social media scroller. Do you scroll through social media mindlessly whenever you have free time? Do you find yourself getting lost in the online world, unaware of how much time is passing? Try setting a timer for your daily scrolling, or uninstall the app for a week. You might be surprised by how this change affects your mood and productivity. Sometimes, a pause from social media helps you reset your energy and make space for what truly matters. The couch lounger. Do you often find yourself collapsing onto the couch every evening after work? While unwinding is important, spending all your time lying around can drain your energy and motivation the next day. Try replacing this habit with something active like going for a walk, reading a book, or picking up a hobby. Pay attention to how your energy and mood shift once you change this routine. How to break habits. The interesting part 1. Identify the habit. The first step in breaking a habit is to clearly identify it. What habit do you want to break? Be specific and clear. Instead of saying, "I want to stop being lazy," say, "I want to stop watching TV for more than an hour each day." When you define your goal clearly, making changes becomes easier. 2. Understand the trigger. What causes you to engage in that habit? Is it stress, boredom, or a certain situation that makes it easier to fall into the bad habit. When you understand the triggers behind a habit, you can find ways to avoid them or replace them with more positive behaviors. For example, if you scroll social media whenever you're bored, try replacing that with reading a book or talking to a loved one. This will help reduce the impact of the negative habit. 3. Replace the habit. Don't just try to stop an action without replacing it. To break an old habit, substitute it with a healthier behavior. If you want to stop snacking, replace snacks with fruits or vegetables. If you want to stop browsing social media, replace it with reading or spending time in nature. Replacing a harmful habit with a good one will help you sustain the change over time. 4. Be patient. Breaking a habit doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience and determination. Don't be discouraged if you slip up or repeat old behaviors. Just get back up and keep going. Remember that your goal is progress, not perfection. Each time you become aware and adjust your behavior, you move one step closer to breaking the bad habit and building a healthy new one. Conclusion. Habits are powerful, but they do not control us. By becoming aware of your habits, understanding your triggers, and replacing them with more positive actions, you can break free from the mental chains that are holding you back and live a more purposeful and fulfilling life. As Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. Build good habits to become the best version of yourself. Lesson 6. Restarting real work, escaping the exhausting race, and reclaiming your flow. We live in a world where work and busyness seem to be the norm. It feels like we must always be working to prove our worth. But being busy does not necessarily mean being effective or successful. In truth, meaningful work is the kind that makes you feel alive and fulfilled at the end of each day. The trap of busyness. In modern society, we are constantly bombarded with messages urging us to do more, achieve more. Have you ever felt like you're running a never-ending race, constantly checking emails, scrolling through social media, and multitasking? But does all this busyness actually help you achieve something truly important? As the philosopher Seneca once said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough if we use it wisely. So how can we reset our approach to work and find meaning in what we do? 1. Identify your real work. What is real work for you? What truly excites your passion? What are your unique talents and skills? What kind of work makes you feel like you're making a difference? Take time to reflect on these questions. They form the foundation for realigning your work to ensure that you are doing what you truly love and find valuable. 2. Eliminate distractions. In today's hyper-connected world, distractions are everywhere: emails, notifications, social media. All of these compete for our attention. Learn to set boundaries, turn off notifications, and dedicate focused time blocks to work deeply. Only by removing distractions can you immerse yourself in your work and produce meaningful results. 3. Embrace deep work. Deep work is when you are completely focused on a task, free from distractions. It is a state of intense concentration that helps you achieve your best results. As author Cal Newport said, clarity about what matters provides clarity about what does not. When you know what truly matters, you can work more efficiently and meaningfully. By applying these principles, you won't just find peace in your work, but also a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction each day. Let go of the busy race and rediscover the real flow of the work you are passionate about. 4. Find your flow. Flow, a concept you may have heard of, but what does it really mean? Flow is that magical state where you are completely immersed. In what you are doing, time seems to disappear, and you are performing at your peak. It is the sweet spot between challenge and skill, where you can push your limits without feeling overwhelmed or stressed. All you need to do is choose tasks that are challenging enough to engage you, but not so difficult that they frustrate you. At the same time, create an environment that minimizes distractions so you can focus fully on the task without interruption. Imagine a day when you sit down at your desk not to face a mountain of messy tasks, but to engage in a compelling mission that completely draws you in. In that moment, you no longer feel tired or anxious about the outcome. Instead, you savor every second, every small step toward your goal. That is the flow state you should seek in your work. 5. Prioritize rest and recovery. True work is not about burning the candle at both ends, but about working sustainably. Remember that rest and recovery are essential parts of effective work. Don't let yourself get caught in a non-stop cycle of tasks that leave you burned out. As the old saying goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Rest is not just relaxation. It's a way to regenerate energy, helping you recover both physically and mentally. Take time for yourself, your personal interests, or simply to relax. Doing so helps you maintain balance, work more effectively, and avoid burnout. Real-life examples. Applying Stoic philosophy in daily life. The writing retreat. Many writers find they are most productive when they disconnect from the outside world and fully immerse themselves in their creative work. They might rent a cabin in the woods, join a silent retreat, or simply turn off their phone and email for a few hours each day to focus completely. Withdrawing from external noise not only improves concentration, but also helps them reconnect with their inner creative ideas. The morning routines of entrepreneurs. Many successful entrepreneurs have morning routines that help them start the day effectively. These might include meditation, exercise, journaling, or simply enjoying a quiet cup of coffee. These activities help them begin the day with clarity and readiness to face challenges. The artist's creative ritual. Artists often have special rituals that help them enter a creative state. They might listen to music, light candles, or take a walk in nature to feel relaxed and inspired. These rituals help them disconnect from worry and pressure and focus fully on the creative process. Conclusion. Restarting real work means shifting from quantity to quality, from busyness to meaning, from racing to flowing. It's not about working just to survive, but working in a way that lights you up, that makes you feel fulfilled at the end of the day. As poet Mary Oliver once wrote, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" This reminds us that work is not just a series of tasks to complete, but a chance to live fully and creatively. When you find your flow in work, you will experience genuine satisfaction, and life will feel more meaningful than ever. Lesson 7. See the world like a poet and an artist, and unleash your inner creative genius. Step away from the ordinary and enter a world full of wonder, where everything can become a work of art. We're not talking about entering poetry contests or going to art school, though those things are wonderful too. We're talking about a shift in mindset, a way of seeing the world that can turn everyday life into a masterpiece. The art of seeing. Think about how children see the world. They are full of wonder and curiosity, not just about big things, but the tiniest details. Ladybugs crawling on a leaf, dinosaur-shaped clouds, or sunlight streaming through the trees. All of these can become endless sources of creative inspiration. But somewhere along the journey to adulthood, we lose that sense of wonder. We get swept up in the rhythm of daily life, to-do lists and the endless stream of information attacking our senses. So what would happen if we could rediscover that sense of wonder we had as children? If we could see the world through the eyes of a poet or an artist, to find beauty in the simplest of things, the philosopher's lens. In ancient Greek philosophy, there is a word called theoria, meaning contemplation or reflection. It is the act of looking beyond the surface, seeing hidden connections, and discovering beauty in ordinary things. As the philosopher Plato once said, beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. But what if we could train our eyes to see more beauty, more meaning, more wonder in the world around us? When you learn to see the world like a poet or an artist, you'll discover that every moment and every detail can become an endless source of inspiration. And when you view things through that lens, life becomes much richer and more colorful. 1. Slow down. In a modern world where speed and efficiency are always prioritized, we often forget that slowing down can be the key to finding peace. Have you ever stopped to truly notice the details around you? Take a few minutes each day to slow down, breathe deeply, and simply observe the world around you. Notice the colors, textures, sounds, scents, and all the little elements we often overlook in our hurried lives. It will feel as though time slows down and you are fully alive in the present moment. This not only helps you relax, but also allows you to see the beauty and calm in even the simplest things. 2. Look for patterns. Poets and artists are masters at finding patterns and connections in the world around them. They can see relationships between things that seem unrelated. You can observe patterns in nature, in architecture, or in human behavior. For example, notice how light and shadow play on a building, how birds fly in synchrony, or how a single smile can brighten an entire room. Once you start noticing these patterns, you not only see the world more clearly, but also feel a deeper sense of connection with everything. 3. Embrace metaphor. Metaphor is the language of poetry and art, and it can help you see the world through a different lens. A metaphor lets you view one thing through the lens of another, finding similarities between things that might seem unrelated. For example, a sunset can be seen as a painting of fire, rain as a symphony of nature, or a city skyline as a forest of concrete. When you learn to view things metaphorically, the world becomes richer and filled with new layers of meaning. 4. Nurture curiosity. One of the key elements of unlocking creativity is curiosity. Ask questions, explore new ideas, and challenge your own assumptions. Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone and try something new. The world is full of surprises waiting to be discovered, and if you dare to be curious, you'll uncover hidden beauty and boundless possibilities within yourself and the world around you. Real-life examples. Applying Stoic philosophy in everyday life. The commuter poet. Instead of mindlessly scrolling your phone on your way to work, look out the window and observe the world around you. Notice how light reflects off buildings, how tree branches sway in the wind, how people interact with each other. These little moments can become inspiration for poetry or deep reflection. After observing, try writing a short haiku or a poem about what you saw. The urban sketcher. Carry a sketchbook and capture the essence of your surroundings with quick drawings. Don't worry about perfection. Focus on expressing the feeling of the moment. You'll find that sketching is not just a creative outlet, but a powerful way to connect with the world around you in a more intimate way. The mindful eater. Instead of eating in a rush, take time to appreciate the colors, textures, and flavors of your food. Notice the aroma, the sensation in your mouth, and how the meal nourishes your body. When you practice mindful eating, you not only enjoy your food more, but also deepen your connection with your body and experience harmony with every bite. Conclusion. Seeing the world as a poet and an artist is not only about appreciating beauty, it is about nurturing the wonder, curiosity, and creativity that can enrich every aspect of your life. As the poet William Blake once said, "To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour." When you view the world through the lens of creativity, you'll discover infinite beauty in ordinary things, and life will become more vibrant and meaningful. Lesson 8. Carry your choice. Wherever you go, your inner compass in a chaotic world today, we are talking about freedom, but not the kind with waving flags and fireworks. We are talking about the kind of freedom that lives inside your mind, the freedom to choose your attitude, your thoughts, and your actions, no matter where life takes you. The illusion of external control. We often live under the illusion that our happiness and peace depend on external circumstances. Our job, relationships, bank account, or even the weather. We believe that if we can just change our situation, we'll finally be happy. But the truth is, external conditions are always changing, like the weather, unpredictable and often out of our control. You cannot control other people, events, or the outside world, but you can control your attitude toward them. The Stoic power of choice. The ancient Stoic philosophers understood this well. They taught that true freedom comes from within, from our ability to choose how we respond to whatever life throws at us. As Epictetus once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This does not mean we passively accept everything. It means we focus on what we can control, our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and let go of what we cannot. When you understand that freedom does not come from controlling your environment, but from mastering your response to it, life becomes lighter and freer. So how do we use our power of choice in everyday life? We can change our lives and find peace of mind by consciously using our power to choose. Here are some ways to apply this freedom in daily life. 1. Recognize your freedom. Wherever you are or whatever you are going through, you always have the freedom to choose your attitude. You can choose positivity, optimism, and hope, or you can choose negativity, pessimism, and doubt. Remember that your attitude is not dictated by your circumstances, but by you. True freedom begins with realizing that you can control how you respond to any situation, rather than letting circumstances control your emotions and thoughts. 2. Change your perspective. When facing difficulty, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I grow through this experience? The way you view a problem will shape how you handle it. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, view them as opportunities for growth. This shift in perspective can help you move through hardship without feeling overwhelmed or stuck. 3. Focus on what you can control. Rather than drowning in things you cannot change, focus on what you can do to improve the situation. You may not be able to control everything, but you always have control over your thoughts, actions, and choices. This mindset helps reduce anxiety and feelings of helplessness and empowers you to move forward even in difficult circumstances. 4. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to negativity and despair. Take time each day to appreciate the good in your life, no matter how small. Practicing gratitude not only makes you feel happier, but also keeps your outlook positive and helps you value what you already have. In this way, your life becomes richer, and even small things can become great sources of motivation. Real-life examples applying Stoic philosophy in everyday life. The Stoic stuck in traffic. Instead of yelling at the cars, when stuck in traffic, use that time to listen to an audiobook, practice mindfulness, or simply enjoy a pause in a busy day. This is a chance to slow down, relax, and recharge instead of letting frustration take over. The optimistic job seeker, instead of sinking into self-pity after losing a job, see it as an opportunity to explore new career paths, learn new skills, or start a passion project. Losing a job can be a crucial turning point that helps you shift directions and create new opportunities. The cancer patient. Instead of giving in to despair when facing illness, focus on what you can control: your attitude, your treatment plan, and your support system. Find joy in small things, cherish each moment, and nurture a strong spirit to face the challenge. Though you may not be able to change the illness, you can control how you respond and how you live through the journey. Conclusion: carry your choice wherever you go. This is a simple but profound truth that can transform your life. By realizing your freedom to choose your response in every situation, you can find peace, joy, and meaning even in adversity. As Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and renowned psychiatrist, once said, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. When you understand and apply your power of choice in life, you no longer feel bound by circumstances. Instead, you become the active agent shaping your own life. If properly nourished, the mind can become stronger, sharper, and more resilient. As the philosopher René Descartes famously said, "I think, therefore I am." But what if we took it a step further and said, "I think, therefore I create"? Our thoughts are not just passive reflections of reality, but active forces that shape the world around us. Why reignite your thinking? Thoughts can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. They can lift you up or drag you down, inspire you or discourage you, empower you or hold you back. When thoughts become stagnant, repetitive, or negative, we get stuck both mentally and emotionally. Reignite your thinking to break free from limiting beliefs. We all hold certain beliefs about ourselves and the world. Some of these empower us, while others limit us. By challenging assumptions and questioning beliefs, we can break free from the mental chains that hold us back. Cultivate a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. By embracing this mindset, you open the door to new possibilities, new challenges, and greater resilience in the face of failure. This way of thinking helps you not only overcome difficulties, but also grow and evolve from each challenge, paving the way for lasting progress in life. Enhanced creativity and innovation thinking is the foundation of creativity. When you expand your thinking, explore new ideas, and connect seemingly unrelated concepts, you ignite your imagination and produce breakthrough solutions. Creativity is not an innate talent, but a skill that can be cultivated through time and persistence. Real-life examples. Stoic philosophy in creativity and innovation. The pivoting entrepreneur. Faced with a failing business, an entrepreneur with a growth mindset sees it as a chance to learn, adapt, and pivot. They challenge assumptions, reassess strategies, and implement innovative solutions to turn things around. This is a clear example of how Stoic and creative thinking can be applied in times of difficulty. The reinventing artist. An artist facing creative block can reignite their thinking by experimenting with new materials, exploring different genres, or collaborating with other artists. By stepping beyond limits and comfort zones, they can awaken creativity and produce breakthrough works. Artists constantly seek innovation to evolve and stay creatively alive. The awakened student. A student struggling with a difficult concept can spark new thinking by seeking alternative explanations, asking a teacher for help, or simply taking a break and returning with a fresh perspective. Persistence and multi-angle approaches can lead to breakthroughs in learning. This is a classic example of creative thinking in education. How to reignite your thinking. Your mental practice, Plan 1. Challenge assumptions. Ask questions about your beliefs, biases, and fixed ideas. Don't be afraid to ask yourself, is this really true? Do I have evidence for this belief? Or is there another perspective I haven't considered? Challenging assumptions expands your vision and leads to creative solutions instead of limited thinking. 2. Seek new input. Always broaden your knowledge by reading books, watching documentaries, listening to podcasts, attending seminars, or engaging in conversations with people who think differently. The more diverse the ideas and perspectives you're exposed to, the more your mind opens and the more innovative your thinking becomes. 3. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of focusing on the present moment without judgment. By training in mindfulness, you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions and learn to detach from negative mental patterns. This Practice reduces stress and creates mental space for creative thoughts to emerge. 4. Nurture curiosity. Ask questions, explore new hobbies, try unfamiliar things. The more curious you are, the more your mind evolves and grows. Curiosity is the fuel that drives you to keep discovering new ideas and insights in the world around you. Conclusion. Thoughts are not just fleeting moments in your mind. They are powerful forces that shape your reality. By reigniting your thinking, you can break free from limiting beliefs, nurture a growth mindset, enhance creativity, and live a more fulfilling life. As the philosopher Socrates once said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." So go out, learn something new, and your mind will thank you for it. All right, everyone, that wraps up today's journey on Stoicism and seeking inner peace. Remember, life will always throw various challenges at us, but by focusing on what we can control and accepting what we cannot, we can navigate those ups and downs with calmness and resilience. It's not about avoiding difficulties, but facing them with a steady and strong mind. So, next time you encounter a tough situation, take a deep breath, reflect on your circle of control, and choose your response wisely. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Recognize this, and you will find your strength. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below about how you practice Stoicism in your life. See you in the next video. Stay strong and live stoically. Bottom of form.